Hello, guys. Welcome to another session of Truth with Roots Edition. As you all know that here on my channel, I share content that help young people live their best life. So today we have this very interesting and juicy topic. Without further ado, guys, let's jump right into it. Okay, you know how that we've heard the word God loves you over and over and over again, and we still see people that are battling self-esteem. We still see people that are battling addictions. We still see people that are not sure of their own identity, not because they are not certain that God loves them, but all of these things stem from a lot of things. When we look at insecurity, when we look at low self esteem, when we look at all of those things, we see that they all stem from how we see ourselves. How do you see yourself? What do you see in the mirror when you look at yourself? I used to have this niece who is 6 year old now, but then she was three. Still like she was 2, 3. And she was in school, she had this class teacher who would always say that tell her mom that your daughter is not coping, your daughter is just quiet, your daughter doesn't answer back in class, your daughter doesn't respond when they're talking in class. And at some point, it started getting to her mom, which is my own sister. It started getting to her mom, and she started feeling in some way that what is wrong with this child? She doesn't talk. She was so reserved. She doesn't talk. I put up a video where she led a talk during her graduation after now or before the end of this video. And her mother reached out to us and said that she doesn't know what's wrong with her daughter, that her aunt is always complaining that she's not writing. As of then, Nigeria mentality, they obviously feel like a child at 2, 3, at 3 basically should be writing and blazing, forgetting that no child, every child is different, and you have to, they learn at their own pace. Most times, children like to learn at their own pace, so you really cannot force them. They would they might not talk, but there is a tendency that they've been able to assimilate every single thing that they are being taught. It's just how to express themselves that they need to learn. So she reached out to us and said, Aunt is always saying that my niece was an average student, and she's even far from being average, that she's sure that she has issues. I don't know, she was advising her mom to do something about it. So her mom still registered her with the same class teacher. She still registered her a private lesson teacher or something, and it wasn't still helping. And when she reached out, I told her that I needed like 2 weeks to be with her. So I traveled from where I was because I had pre-knowledge on teaching kids and I knew how it works. So I had to come down there and rescue the situation. We tried different method. We tried singing. We tried writing on air. I told her to close her eyes at some point and start writing on air and start imagining herself writing some things. It was strictly 2 weeks of no cartoon, no TV, strictly books, and I was just bent on seeing her improve. I introduced several incentives which really helped at that point, and by the end of that term, oh God, by the grace of God, she came out blazing. Like, even the teacher was surprised at how far she has really, really improved. And she had to ask that who was the person that taught her. And her mom said it was a sister. This is where I'm going to. A lot of times, as human beings, we're quick to label people. We're quick to say, when you see somebody wearing, take for instance, wearing chains on your leg, or they are piercing, okay, let me not use piercing nose because it's not to an extreme right now. A lot of people are comfortable with it. Let me use, okay, yes, I think some people still have this weird belief about those who wear chains on their leg, and you see them maybe, so yeah, somebody piercing their tongue, someone piercing all the parts of their ears, and there's this perception you have about them, especially if you were groomed in a religious, or culturally strict background. There's a tendency for you to see this person and label them wayward without even coming close to them or giving them a name that is not theirs. So a lot of times as human beings, we often categorize people, we label them, we give them names that are not theirs. And if you are not careful, all of those things sit into your subconscious and it starts to manifest as you grow older. Take for instance, somebody has labeled you as a shy person, or you came out one time, wanted to express yourself, and every person around you started laughing. It might mean a joke, it might look like a joke to every other person around, but to you it was serious. It sits into your subconscious. Over time, you start to tell yourself that I don't think I'm worth it. I don't think I can express myself in the public. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do that. Whereas it was just a silly mistake or something that you were not just experienced enough to do, and then you just tag yourself that particular name. Times labels are such strongholds, and we carry them on our inside, believing that we are this kind of person. If they say that you're a shy person, that struggle just keeps you bound. And you begin to internalize that, yes, I am a shy person. And you carry that personality. You carry something that is not yours. Sorry, excuse me. For a long time of your life. And it starts to affect how you see yourself. So labeling a person means taking an aspect of that person's life and summarizing it as their whole entire being. Take for instance, somebody is telling me as a very shy person, and that aspect of my life, you don't even know other aspect of my life. You're not even sure if there are other aspect of my life where I'm doing so well, but that is the part that you know. You just tend to summarize that as my entire life, and it starts to affect me. It starts to affect how I think about myself. Well, right from our childhood, we've been called different names, and all of these names become so ingrained into our psychic, and we, just like I said before, we carry them about, and we start to feel like, okay, this is who we are. And the truth about label is that it can be given by anyone. It can just like I said, you were just joking around and you try to express yourself. Label can be given from an unoffended remark, just from somebody that they don't think that it was supposed to get to you, but this is something you have been struggling with, so it resonates with you. That particular thing resonates with you, and you start to feel, am I sure I'm important? You start to ask yourself questions you weren't meant to ask yourself before. When a label is placed on you, they don't ask for your permission to control you. They just come out and start manifesting. They just come out and start exhibiting themselves. If we look at academic, for instance, a person who failed in academics is tend to be seen as an academic reject. We just automatically feel like, okay, this person cannot make it in life. Whereas we're not looking to see, okay, what's this person good at? Just maybe there are other aspects of their life they flow well. Have we looked at their social skills? Have we looked at every other thing, especially mathematics, where a number of people are having issues with? Have you looked at the other part of the person? Like, have you tried different teaching technique? If this would help the person come top, have you tried to change the environment? Have you tried to change the relationship, the teacher? Have you watched? There are a lot of factors that could make somebody not pass a particular subject, not pass a particular course, not because the person does not even know it. It could just be a lot of reason. There are a lot of reason behind it. So it's important that we look at all of these other aspects before terming this person as an academic reject. You've been labeled an academic reject before, or somebody a failure, you'd realize that it takes, and for some reasons you've had to walk through that path, you've had to work on yourself. You'd realize that it takes an intentional effort. It takes an interruption in that thought. It will take you conscious, intentional effort to be able to disrupt that particular thought process, that particular subconscious thought that has teleguided you into that atmosphere of you thinking that you're a failure. You have to constantly remind yourself every day that you're not. So it's always an intentional thing to do for an individual. So a lot of people don't even know it. It might not even be academic part. It might be that maybe somebody just calls you um useless, the use of funny languages that gets to people, or that there's just so many things, there's just so many labels that people have given to individuals without even having a one-on-one contact with them, which is not a good attitude of people. And we see that everybody just throw things at you without even knowing you. We understand that the economy itself is hard, so it's harder when you now start to put that pressure on people and expecting them to act so in one way that you feel is right just because it's not the standard of the whole world. Look at shyness, for instance. If you're labeled shy, if you have that subconscious thought that you're a shy person, you will go into meetings, you will go into conferences where you have the right words to say, where you have the best contribution, where you have the best ideas, but you keep quiet because you just feel like, I don't think my words will make sense. I'm sure if you've been in this situation where you want to say something, it's burning within you, and you're just trying, should I say it? Should I not say it? Should I say it? Should I not say it? And just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, somebody very close to you will just put up their hands and say it, and you see everybody so looking at this person. This is so brilliant. This is so nice of you to have thought of it that way. And you start to think, I should have been the one. Or you even have a better contribution than the person. But the fear of how will people judge me? How will people see me? Will I even make sense? Will make people crawl back and say it's better not to even share. A lot of millions, that's why people say the graveyard is where you have the best talent. Millions of ideas have gone into the graveyard, have gone into non-existence because somebody somewhere decided not to share anything about it, or somebody somewhere decided because of the label that has been attached to them. Just like we have it with shyness, we also have it with being assertive. If you're extremely assertive, people will call you out. If you're People would say that why is she always acting like if she's the one that knows everything? Every time she's the one, and they want to do this one, she's the one, and they're not even talking, they're not speaking. And you realize a lot of people like that are not the ones that are contributing, but they are the first to quickly criticize or judge people. I'm not saying that's not to watch the tone of the room, but then if you're in a conference, you're expected to share your opinion, share your ideas, put yourself out. That's the essence why you're in a gathering, you're in a meeting, in a place where, take for instance, nobody know you. And the goal is to at least create awareness, network with people. You want to show people that you have value. So even if they are going to term you as assertive, you have to come out. But then you see that a lot of people that maybe from while they are young, parents have said you talk too much, you keep quiet, you don't look. A lot of shunning that person personality would really allow them crawl back, and they just feel like, okay, I don't know if I say something now, they will say that I own is too much, and so that they won't say that. And I would say it's better not to talk than talk and let somebody make me feel stupid or make me feel somehow. So it works. It's on the flip side, on both ways. So people criticize anything. They'll criticize you for being at the forefront. They'll criticize you for a lot of things. So it's just important that you yourself stand your ground and you're able to communicate whatever it is that you have to say, irrespective of what anybody else thinks. What everybody else thinks doesn't count. Even if your ideas don't make sense today, I'm sure they would make a lot of sense tomorrow. And if you contribute something and it's not worth the group or something they are using at that particular time, I'm sure they would educate you on ways this idea would be more productive instead of going through that other route. Labels generally, they have the capacity of preventing you from stepping into opportunities. They rob you of your identity. They will just rob you of that identity that is accrued to you. They rob you of identity. They prevent you from stepping into opportunities, room of opportunity where you could have stepped into. Labels to just hinder you. And this, they also said, okay, robbing you of your identity, which is a big one. They determine what you can or cannot do. So you are now a subject to them, which is not supposed to be so. You're not a subject to them. Whatever the voice says, that's what you do. God didn't create us like that. And even the Bible says, let your light so shine before men. God did not say before yourself. He did not say before your family. so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. It was intentional. He didn't make a mistake when he said, let your light so shine. He didn't say dim it a bit. He didn't say reduce your light. He said, let it so shine before men that they would see your good works and glorify your Father. You know how people communicate so much value to you and you say, God, I thank God for you. I bless God for how you've been a gift to your generation. You are blessing people. You are making people glorify God on your behalf. And then God is like, I'm the one that created this person that is just dishing out a wealth of knowledge. She's just screaming value and he's proud where he is. And you know how you see your child doing excellently well? That's how God is. When you do something great and you communicate so much value and it looks like that, check out now. Now my daughter with that. So it gives him this feeling that yes, this is this person doing what they expected to do, shining their so-called light in a world where everybody wants you to be quiet, in a world where people think that you owe them an explanation. But because a lot of time when we think people are looking at her, they're really not looking at us. People are minding their business. Nobody really has time. Maybe they criticize you a day, the next day they are back to doing whatever it is they are doing. So it's important that you intentionally communicate our light, let our light shine, put it out there, and trust that God is going to bless the works of your hands. So you see that once you are labeled, you are constantly in panic mode. It cements the way you see yourself. It cements the assumptions that people have about you. Oh, you can't just internalize something somebody somewhere said about you and you start to live that way. It is wrong. And I feel like it's even a sin against the God that created you, because this is you living below his potential. So when we look at labels, we see that labels are more of the negative side. Labels are more of you seeing yourself in a negative way, seeing yourself in a negative manner. So this is what I would say, that discover who you are truly from every other person narrative. Look at yourself in God's lens. Look at yourself from God's narrative. How does God sees you? What does he says about you? What are his promises?
Okay, guys, towards the tail end of this video, I realized that my audio wasn't working perfectly. So, this is what I was saying here. I'm saying that away from all of these narratives, how do you see yourself? If these narratives weren't there, what would you do differently? Where would you go differently? Have a list of them. What are the things that I would do differently if I wasn't shy? You look at it daily, you make plans, you start making small goals towards achieving them. Another thing I would like to say is that the one who called you does not recognize any kind of imposter syndrome whatsoever. He called you because he knew that you weren't perfect, and he's trying to use that imperfection in you to make it perfect. There's an audience for you. God is willing to walk through you and in you to do all that he has called you to do. So with that, we've come to the end of this video. Please do well to like, subscribe, share. Please, to go a long way. Please like, subscribe, and share, and let me know in the comment section how this video has helped you.
Thank you, people.